welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a first impressions on these right here. I almost dropped it on the floor. Right here, this is the Artis makeup brush collection. So I did a video like this months ago, probably like 4 or 5 months ago, where I did a first impressions on the Oval 8 brush, which I have right here, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I still love it. My only gripe about this brush is it's really, really hard to clean because of just the way the bristles are and they're so dense. It's like I pour soap on it and then it's kind of difficult to clean, but other than that, my thoughts are exactly the same as they were in that first impressions video. So I'm gonna link it down below if you haven't checked it out. Sorry, I'm feeling a little bit sick for some reason, so if I sound weird, that's why. Anyways, so for Christmas, I got the Oval 7 brush and this whole kit right here, which has the Oval 6, Oval 4, Oval 3, Concealer 1, and Liner 1 brush. So I was going to do a drugstore versus high-end, comparing this to a like Amazon, more affordable kit that looks like this. But I figured, you know what, I want to try these brushes first before I start comparing them to like a duplicate, just because I feel like I have a much better grasp of whether or not I like the brushes or not if I do that. So stay tuned for the drugstore versus high-end, and this is going to be a first impressions. Okay, so I haven't even opened this yet, you guys. I've been so incredibly busy ever since the holidays. So right after Christmas, we went to Universal Studios and Disneyland. And then if you guys haven't been following me on Snapchat, you might not know my back has been hurting like really, really bad. So I just haven't had a chance to like sit down and enjoy putting on my makeup. It's always like really quick and I have to stand up when I do it. So long story short, these are all still in the packaging. I haven't even looked at this one yet. Okay, it's a little bit hard to get off. Okay, there we go. This is quite a bit smaller than the Oval 8. So here's the Oval 8 and here's the Oval 7. Look at that size difference. Holy cow. I remember in my first impressions video when I was using this, I was like, you know what? I kind of wish this was a little bit smaller because if you look at it, like it takes up your whole face, which granted, it makes it really easy and like quick to apply your foundation. But I was like, I kind of wish it was a little bit smaller. And I'm like, okay, now is this too small? I don't know. So, and there's nothing in between. It's the 7 and the 8. It's not like there's a 7.5 or something like that, 7.5. And then here is what the kit looks like that has all the smaller ones. So here's the Oval 6, which is much smaller. So 7, 6, and here's 8. So 8, 7, 6 right here. 6, 7, 8. There's quite a size difference between them all, which I guess makes sense because if you want to own the whole collection, you're not going to buy a brush that's like a centimeter smaller. You know, you want there to be a pretty big difference. So interesting. Why do these look like they're different colors? I wonder if it's because I've washed this one so much. But you can see they all have the same handles. The handles are all the same size. And they all have that like plasticky feeling to them, which kind of scares me because I'm always afraid with this one that it's going to like snap off and break the brush, which terrifies me. Here's the Oval 5. Is that what's on here? Oval 4. So there must be an Oval 5 that's in between. What's this one? Does it say on the brush? This is the Oval 3, so maybe there's a 4 that goes in there. So let me hold these up in order. There's all of that. And then here's the liner. Liner 1 and Circle 1. So I'm assuming that the liner one is of course for your eyes and the circle one is for your lips. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to test out the lip one today because I don't have any lip products that are like in a pot. All my lip products are like in tubes or like in a normal lipstick tube, so I might not be able to try that one out today. These are for eyeshadows, I believe, so I want to say I would use the Oval 6 for under eyes. That seems like, woo, poked my eye with it. That seems like that would be like the perfect fit right there for under eyes. Yeah. And then these two would be for eyes. However, I kind of feel like this is a little bit too big for eyes. Like that's pretty much my entire eye. So maybe this would make a good concealer. And then this would be a good like contour. Yeah, I like that. Contour or even like a cream blush. That would be good. Okay, so that's how I'm gonna use it. I have my extra brushes, like my normal brushes in front of me on standby, like just in case, because I'm gonna do a full face of makeup in this video, you guys. So let's do this. So that I'm not including too many variables, I'm gonna use the same exact foundation that I used in my first impressions of the Oval 8, which is the Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. And then I'm gonna mix in some of the Cover FX Custom Infusion Jasmine drops because my face is so dry right now, guys. It's like the winter always kills my face, and it's such a dry climate here in Arizona that it like my skin does not like it. So, and I'm gonna just tap some on. Ooh, that might be a little bit too much. Tap it on my face. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna use the Oval 7. Is that what this one is? Oval 7? Yeah, for my foundation, just because I wanna try something different and I've already done the Oval 8 before. So, still super soft. I like it. I love how it gets like right in that crevice, like crack of your nose. I feel like it just works so well for that. Blends in beautifully. I want to say this is actually the perfect size for foundation. I feel like the Oval 8 might be a little bit more appropriate for like maybe skincare or, you know, like facial lotions, facial masks, things like that, because this works really well too. And I feel like I can get closer to those little like curves of my face, like kind of under my eyes. And it's not quite as quick because it's not quite as big, but you can see the dry parts of my face. Maybe you can't, but I can. I don't like that. Yeah, I think I like the Oval 7 a little bit more than the Oval 8 for foundation, just because I just feel like it's a little bit easier to work with. It's a little bit more versatile, I guess. You can get into those little cracks and those little crevices. So I love this so much. Okay, moving on to concealer. I'm gonna use the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. So if you watch my first impressions of the Oval 8 brush, I couldn't use it for concealer. Obviously, it's just way too big. So I ended up having to use my Beauty Blender. And I will say, I think the Beauty Blender does the best out of any foundation application tool that I have at blending in concealer. But I wanna try one of these. So I'm gonna use the Oval 4? I'm getting these names all mixed up. Is that right? Yeah, the Oval 4 to blend this in. Let's see how it does. It does get right up into this like inner corner bridge of my nose. I feel like that's where I have the most problem blending in concealer always, no matter what tool I use, just because it's such a like, you know, it's an awkward place, you know what I mean? So that blends out the concealer really, really well. Doesn't seem to look too cakey. I will say I feel like I'm having that problem again where I'm brushing away the product that I applied with this right here. Because I'm putting product on top of product, and I felt like I kind of like smudged it a little bit. So that's interesting. I also noticed it looks a little unblended right there. Now granted, I'm gonna go in and apply eyeshadow anyway, so that really shouldn't make too much of a difference. But I'm just gonna pat over it with my Beauty Blender just to make sure everything's nice and seamless. I'm gonna have a little bit of separation anxiety not using my Beauty Blender. So I'm just gonna pat over it with that just to make sure everything's nice and seamless. Okay, I'm gonna do the rest of my face makeup, so my setting powder, my eyebrows, and I'm gonna get my eyeshadow started, and then I'm gonna check back in with you guys and we're gonna use the rest of the brush for my eye makeup and my cheeks. Alright, I'm gonna try some glitter eyeshadow. Let's see how this works with glitter. So this is the Urban Decay Liquid Moon Dust, and I'm gonna use the Oval 3 and brush it on the bristles. I use this, or I do this with, anytime I use this eyeshadow, I brush the product on a brush as opposed to just directly applying it, but I usually use a flat shader brush. So this is new. I feel like I'm having to use a lot more product. I don't know if the product's like disappearing and it's sinking into the bristles. However, I don't think that's the case because one of the appeals of these Oval 8 brushes is, Artis brushes is they're so densely packed that product is not supposed to like seep into them. It's supposed to sit right on top of it. Let's see. It actually works very well. I don't know if it works as well for glitter purposes as a flat shader brush, because a flat shader brush really just like packs it on. I feel like this is kind of pushing the glitter around a lot, you know what I mean? So, I don't know if you can tell. I'm gonna use a flat shader brush on the other eye just to show you guys the difference. So, okay, so here's with the Oval 3. Is that right? Oval 3? Yeah, this is the Oval 3, and then this is the flat shader brush. So you can see, I get the same effect. I feel like it was just maybe a little bit easier to do with the flat shader brush. I don't know if that's the case with powder products, but with this liquid glitter, I feel like that's definitely the case. I'm gonna go in with a second coat just to intensify the glitter, and we'll see what that does. I think that second layer of glitter not only made the eye look a lot better, I think it really showed how well this works. I think I just picked a bad product to test it with, but I really like it. I think it looks really good. It blended the glitter really well, and it didn't like make it patchy or cake up anywhere. It just evenly spread out the glitter, and I think it looks really good. Okay, I'm gonna use the Circle 1 as my outer V brush. I know this is used for lips typically, and I feel like it would work really well for lips, but I wanna try it on my eyes because there's no rules in makeup. So I'm gonna go in and use this really dark purple color right here from the Urban Decay Ultimate Naked Basics, and I guess is that how you, we'll see. This reminds me of a toothbrush, like a legit, like you know when you're at the dentist and they put like that polish, varnish stuff on your teeth and it like spins, and it reminds me of the dentist. This really packs on the color a lot. I usually like to use a very densely packed blending brush for my outer V anyways, and I feel like this is like, that's exactly what this is. It's a small, densely packed, it's not a blending brush, but like it's a circle brush, you know what I mean? It's working really well. It's really packing on that color. I was afraid it wasn't gonna blend very well, but it's definitely blending that color super well. Look at that. Wow, I'm impressed. I'm gonna use the Liner 1 for two purposes. So the first one, I'm gonna see how it applies shadow right there, my lower lash line. I love to put shadow on my lower lash line. I just think it really pulls together any eye look. So, you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm getting some product on the brush. Oh wow, my nose is running. That actually works pretty well. You can really get it super close to your lashes. I'm gonna use the same Liner 1 brush to smudge out my upper lash line pencil. So this is the Makeup Forever Aqua XL in M10. It's just their matte black color. And usually I use a smudge brush to smudge out my pencil liner. And I love that. I've used that for years and years, but maybe this will change that. Maybe this will be the breakthrough and I'll like it more. Okay, so the liner's on. Let's see how this smudges. I will say it's definitely easier to smudge out with this just because of the shape of the brush, and that's one of the whole ideas behind these Artis brushes is they're supposed to be more ergonomically designed and easier for you to apply makeup to yourself because you hold it like this as opposed to like this. Like with a normal smudge brush, I have to go like this, but with this, I'm holding it off to the side, and it's just supposed to be easier. And I will say, I think that was easier. I'm also not like risking smacking my mirror, which I usually sometimes do with my brushes. So very cool, I like this. Okay, now let's use this to contour with. So I'm just using Benefit Hoola. I think that's enough. It's hard to tell because the brush is like brown, you know, so. Oh, I can see it on camera. It's hard to see in person though. I feel like this definitely creates like a really good diffused contour line, but it makes it difficult to kind of like buff it out. And usually I like to buff out my contour quite a bit. Oh, I feel like I didn't angle that correctly. Contouring is so hard, you guys. Okay, I'm gonna go in with this brush and just blend it out a little bit. I feel like that worked really well. I just need to get the hang of it, you know what I mean? See how that like really diffuses it and just like makes it less of like a stark line, you know what I mean? Let's see how it works for the hairline. Oh, that works good. I feel like I can be a little bit less precise up here because it's kind of covered by my hair, but I just like to, you know, pull everything together, so yeah, that worked. That worked really well. Okay, so here's the final look, and here are my final thoughts. I love the Oval 7. I think it's the perfect size for foundation. At first look, I was like, oh, I think it's gonna be too small because comparatively, but I think it's perfect for foundation. The Oval 6, I feel like I need to play with this one a little bit more. I think the idea of using it for a contour, it's perfect. I mean, it worked really well. It applied the product really well. I don't feel like it buffed out or ruined my foundation underneath, which I was a little bit worried about. But I feel like when it comes to diffusing or like buffing out or blending out the contour line, that's where I had the problem. The Oval 4, I really, really liked it. I think it's gonna be really hard for me to, where's my beauty blender? I don't even know where my beauty blender is. But I think it's gonna be really hard for me to let go of the beauty blender and use this only for concealer. But I do think that it worked really well. I was impressed with how well it got right into this bridge of my nose area. I think my least favorite is this one right here, the Oval 3. Am I getting that right? Yeah, 4, 3. I feel like I keep saying these wrong. Yeah, 4, 3, that's right. I think this one was my least favorite. This is the one I used for the glitter eyeshadow. And I don't know if it's because I was using a cream glitter product and not a powder product, but I feel like when it comes to eye makeup, bristles that are flexible and, you know, buffed out and blending brushes, I feel like there's nothing that compares to that. I don't feel like I could use this to do my crease color. And I don't know about the Oliver lid color. I'm gonna have to play with it a little bit more, but I think this one was my least favorite. The Circle one, I loved, you guys. I was really worried about this one and I thought I wasn't gonna like this one at all. I didn't have a lip product to test it out with, so I was kind of like, eh. I really liked this one. I think it worked super well for the outer V of my eye. The liner brush is another one that I was really impressed by. I didn't have high hopes for this. I didn't quite know how I was gonna react to this, how I was gonna like it, but I think it worked great to apply this under eye, lower lash line shadow color. I think this works better than any other product that I've used. I think it works better than a pencil brush. I think it works better than the tip of a flat shader brush, and I loved it for that purpose. I also think it buffed out my pencil liner very quickly, very efficiently. So overall, final thoughts, I want to test them out a little bit more before I say go run out and get them. But I do think the one, if you want to go run out and get something, get either the Oval 8 or the Oval 7. I think for applying foundation, these are just, they're great. They're the best brushes I've ever used for that. So I hope that this video was helpful. Once I get the hang of these brushes, maybe I'll incorporate them into some more tutorials, and then I'll do a drugstore versus high-end using a more affordable one, because these Artis brushes are really expensive, you guys. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye!